What is up guys, Farhan here. Welcome back to another ultimate review. This is the review of the Aprilia ST200. Huge thanks to DD Lifestyle for loaning me this bike for the review. Anyway guys, before we get started with review, we just want to have a shout out to Cardo, who is recently stepping up to be our sponsor. Huge thanks to them. And we just want to promote their new Cardo Packdock Neo. So this Cardo Packdock Neo is one of the newest in the range. It's meant to be a budget-friendly option for riders, you know, who want the DMC technology but slightly lower price than the Packdock Edge lah. So if you're considering to get the Cardo Packdock Neo, you can always go down to Chong Ek or purchase them at our Shopee below. Now back to the video. Right guys, so welcome back to Madini for an ultimate review of the SRGT200 automatic scooter sports variant. So anyway, this is our first ever Aprilia review, and as you guys know, Aprilia for Singapore context, the well-known models are the legendary RS125 2-stroke and also the RSV4 and a couple of other sports bikes. They are well known for the sports bike in Singapore, but actually during the same period where the RS125 was quite a popular bike back in the day, there's also the SR Max 300 scooter, which wasn't so popular, but back when I was staying in Bishan, we had a neighbor who has one. SR Max 300 did exist, but it wasn't that popular lah. So now Aprilia is back with the SRGT200 in response to the numerous ADV 150s, X Maxes, PCXs, Aeroxes that are dominating the region. They wanted to have a slice in the scooter market, and this is what they have lah. So sitting on it, okay. Wow. The tall ride height is certainly something you need to get used to because it's slightly taller than most of the automatic scooters that I've ridden previously. Okay, so starting up, pretty straightforward. Uses a key. It doesn't use a transponder. There's no option for you to get a transponder at all. And a lot of the Pagio models use key instead of transponder lah. So they kept this tradition with the Aprilia SRGT200. Brake in, starter, and off we go. First impressions wise, the SRGT has really awesome acceleration. Like off the get-go at a stop line, right? When you stop the bike, when you whack on the throttle, it immediately goes. I think the performance wise, it beats out all of the other automatic scooters that are currently in the market right now. Handling is awesome. If you've ridden the typical Class 2B automatic scooters, this will feel familiar to you lah, because they are all somewhat the same. Small wheelbase, kind of tall stance. They all handle pretty similar, but I feel that the SRGT handles slightly better. But the performance, if you ask me, outpaces the rest of the other automatic scooters. People forget that Aprilia, well, why are they making scooters when they're well known for sports bike, blah blah blah. Their parent company is actually Piaggio, which makes Vespas, and they also own Aprilia, Gilera. There were some skeptics about the SRGT200, whether a good scooter and all that. But this parent company, Piaggio, has a lot of experience with automatic scooters in the market. You know, they have a lot of Vespa models. They previously had the Gilera Runner ST200, which I feel that this bike is somewhat a successor to it lah. And I feel that till today, even the current lineup of automatic scooters like the X-Maxes and the ADVs, the Gilera still outperforms. But it's all technology using carburetor. Gilera stopped making them already recently, I think, after such a long production run. So I think that's why Aprilia, you know, Piaggio, they released this SRGT200 as kind of like a successor. And I feel that the performance is really somewhat similar to the ST200 lah. And in terms of the features and all that, idle start-stop, right, and riding tech, LED lighting all around, it's really in line with the current range of automatic scooters around. But there are some shortcomings, like the storage cubby at the front over here. It's kind of small. Handling is pretty good, okay. Or going through the roundabout, turning back, pretty awesome handling, I must say. It handles slightly better than the other automatic scooters, but I feel that in general the performance is somewhat similar, even the riding posture also. And the taller ride height really gives you a commanding presence on the road right now. You feel like you're not sitting too forward, but it does provide a nice view of the cockpit, the mirrors, the handlebar, and also the road. So it feels as if like you're sitting on a bike and you're not sitting too forward like some of the automatic scooters like the X-Max and the ADV 150 lah, I feel. Tires are very grippy, somewhat semi-off-road kind of tire. Aprilia proudly marketed. We can do some light off-roading with it, with its taller ride height, slightly taller ground clearance. But I've seen like videos in Indonesia where they bash this bike off-road, really off-road, like in the mud, in the water and all that, and it does probably fine. Aprilia did build this bike for the Asian market, the Southeast Asian region. They actually exported this bike to Europe first, and there's a 125cc model that's available over there because they can ride 125cc without a motorcycle license and simply using a car license. But here in Southeast Asia, you can see the little hints, you know, that makes this bike comfortable to ride in the Asian city setting, like, if you ask me. Like this auto idle stop feature, phone connectivity. I mean, this bike has phone connectivity through the Aprilia. Better be careful down here they tend to beat red light a lot. So it's that little features that makes it attractive. So when you're riding in the city setting, you know, stop traffic, slow traffic, turning left or right, no issues at all. It's meant to take on the city streets. Very comfortable, if I must say. Okay, make a left right here. And I really like the buttons, by the way. The buttons feel pretty clicky, feel pretty comfortable, nice to the touch. Feels like I like to play around with it, like kind of like a fidget cube or something. And I really love the LCD display. Like even under the hot sun right now, you can still see and make out all of the features very clearly. All the information is just in front of you. I feel that they could have, you know, done with a TFT display or something, but I think to keep the costs down, decide to use the LCD. And speaking of cost, because it's a continental bike, even though it's made in Vietnam, it's priced slightly higher than the competition. But I think if you want something different, head turner, and every rider is going to be like asking you, what the heck is this? You can consider the SRGT I mean, I've had like in 4 different occasions riders asking me, what is this? And it's been a while since Aprilia came out with automatic scooter. I'm not sure if Europe has one. Oh, but I have to say that the suspension on this, despite its high travel suspension, you can feel the bumps, road marking, road imperfections and all that. And there you see the idle cut-off immediately starts once I stop the bike. But I feel that on the mainstream scooters, the ADVs, the NMAXs, they're slightly better lah. This one, sometimes when you're stopping at the stoplight, it doesn't cut off the idle at all. So it's up to the bike lah, whether it wants to stop its idling or not.
Introduced in 2022, the Aprilia SRGT is marketed as an adventure scooter with Aprilia's sporty DNA. Manufactured by Piaggio Vietnam, it is specifically targeted to the Southeast Asian market, where automatic scooters are a dominant form of transport. The Euro 5 compliant engine is 174cc liquid-cooled single-cylinder Piaggio I-Get with 4 valves SOHC with electronic fuel injection and an automatic CVT transmission. Right, so this is the first ever ultimate review that we are shooting at the Tarmac Overlanders studio, which is basically my house. Thank you for the support, and do keep supporting us lah. So the ride height is 89cm to 91cm. There's various other seat options that you can choose from. Okay, so it's taller because it has a taller travel suspension at 12.2cm. Really gives it a taller stance, and this has also resulted in increased ground clearance at 17.5. It's never really seen on a automatic scooter of its class. Sitting on this bike right now, it's kind of tall. I'm tiptoeing considerably, but it's still comfortable. I'm comparing to the X-Max at 76.5cm, and I'm 165, and I'm tiptoeing, but it's lightweight and easy handling, makes up for its high seat height basically. And as with any automatic scooter, when you're sitting on the bike, after riding it for a while, you tend to hunch your back. So do straighten your back from time to time. Not much comparison to the other automatic scooters, but if you ask me, the taller ride height gives a more commanding view of the road. So up next, we come to the overall design of the bike, and basically for Aprilia's goal in this case is to mimic the PCXs, the NMAXs and the ADV 150s that has been on the market for quite some time now. I feel that it's much more sportier, much more sleeker. But if you ask me, the shape reminds me of the Gilera ST200 that Pagio once dominated the Singapore streets with, especially in the automatic scooter segment. If you ask me, the SRGT is an awesome successor for it, looking at the performance, the handling, but now we talk about the design first. So at the front here, as you can see, the tri-LED headlights at the front is a Aprilia signature. This design is as seen on the range of sports bikes, and I really love the rear tail tidy over here. For its overall design, since Aprilia did build this bike to compete with the ADVs, the PCXs, the NMAXs, the Aeroxs, it does resemble closely as such. The fuel tank area over here really reminds me of an ADV 150. The seat reminds me of a PCX. The rear tail light, I really like it. The daytime really lights, the LED, the dual suspension in the rear really provides a sporty kind of look, which is somewhat similar to the Aerox. Right, so up next we come to the handlebar controls and the handlebar itself. So the handlebar is a naked setup. There's no plastic cladding over here, as with most automatic scooters. Somewhat similar to the ADV 150, so it makes it easy to mount accessories, in which the case for this bike, DD Lifestyles has mount phone holder. And for me, I mount my Insta360 over here. It's really convenient. No need to put it somewhere weird place, or like the mirrors, for example. Okay, so let's talk about the buttons, handlebar controls. Okay, so the left over here, we got the high beam, low beam, which is integrated together with what usually is the flash button, the automatic start-stop system. If you were to turn it on when you're idling for quite a while, it will auto cut off. If you turn it off, the engine will keep idling. We got the signal indicators over here and the horn. Okay, so for the mode button over here, it's not what you think. This SRGT 200 does not have any riding modes. The mode button is actually toggle the LCD display, which we will come next. And to the right over here, we got the engine kill switch, the starter, and what seems to be a button with a phone on it. So this button is basically a phone connectivity. The app is known as Aprilia MIA connectivity system. It's for both Apple and Android. Rider is able to manage all the information relating to the bike, including trip information and statistics, maintenance reminder, energy consumption, vehicle management, etc. I'm not going to go into detail on this because it's going to be very lengthy, so you can check out other reviews online. So up next, we come to the gauge cluster, which is an LCD display. So it's very nice. You can really see it under the bright lights and in daylight. Remember the mode button? So it's to toggle the top left display over here. So right now it's like the average fuel consumption. We got the range. The max that this bike has went is 128 kilometers. I don't know who go and whack this bike. There's also a voltmeter. That's it. So above it is the temperature of the engine, and then the fuel gauge, and then to the right over here there's a side stand sensor, and then there's the engine cut off, which is currently turned off right now. We got the tachometer, speedometer to the right. We got the time, the clock, a trip meter. Currently this bike is due for servicing, and also the temperature gauge. There's also another mode button at the LCD display area, so you can toggle it. Really makes either one of the buttons redundant, if you ask me. But I think they just want to make it convenient for the riders to change it with their thumb. I must say that for a Class 2B automatic scooter, the gauge cluster is very informative, and there's a lot of info that's being displayed here. So thumbs up for that, Aprilia. As with an automatic scooter, you can expect all of the riding tech to be built into the scooter for the convenience of the rider. Okay, so just to list a few, we've got full LED lighting all around, start-stop system, all-terrain tires for that off-beaten path, but it's probably more for light off-roading, like gravel, sand. And I've tried it out and it's very good actually. Twin rotors, front and rear, with Nissin brake calipers, with single-channel ABS at the front. But however, the disappointment is, unlike most automatic scooters of its class, it uses a key as opposed to a transponder. But we have seen a lot of Pagio Vespa scooters, they use keys. Pagio carried over this tradition to the Aprilia scooter as well. Would be nice if it comes with a transponder though. Right, so let's talk about the under-seat storage. So to access the under-seat storage, there's a button near the keyhole over here. Just press it. You can hear the motor sound running, similar to the Vespa Primavera and GTS and all that. So because it's a mechanical block lah, I presume that there's no wires running through. 25-litre under-seat storage, slightly smaller than the ADV 150. But if you ask me, it's still reasonable. Do have trouble putting my full-face helmet inside, but I think if you have a half-face helmet, shouldn't be any issues. You can also store a lot of things. You know, recently I went to the Geylang Bazaar with the guys. I brought this bike and I brought a lot of things home. It's really packed full of food and stuff in the under-seat storage. Pretty decent amount actually, even though it's 25 litres. Over here we got a storage cubby, but unfortunately you cannot really keep stuff in here. It's very small. There's also a USB-A port in there for you to charge on the go. I wish that you can keep like maybe small items like your passport, your handphone, but I guess Aprilia didn't really have the space in the bodywork to put it, I guess. And also note that the storage cubby has no lock. So for accessories wise, given that it's a relatively new bike, okay, there's not much in the market, but I expect that there will be a lot of accessories coming soon because this bike is available in Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia. Definitely in those countries where the modification scene is very popular, right? You can expect a lot of accessories to come out for the Aprilia SRGT. Right, so up next we come to the colours. Okay, so there are two variations, the standard and the sport. This model in particular is the sport. However, don't let the name fool you. This has nothing to do with performance or any additional upgrades to the bike. It's merely an appearance package, and both variations are mechanically similar. Yeah, that's kind of disappointing. So for the sports variation, it has the Aprilia A over here at the side, and also the rims are red. This bike that I'm riding right now is called the Street Gold, even though it's more to yellow than gold. There's also raceway red and iridium grey. And the standard variant has limited graphics and it comes with black rims instead. It's a street grey, infinity blue and Aprilia black. Alright guys, so horn check for the SRGT 200. It's very loud. Right, so finally let's talk price. Okay, so given that this is a continental scooter, despite it being made in Vietnam, you can expect the price to be slightly higher than the rest of the mainstream scooters like the ADVs and the PCXs. DD Lifestyles, the machine price without COE, 8,700. Slightly expensive, but they are providing 3 years warranty and servicing is free of charge for 3 years, unlimited mileage.
And I really love the tires. They're very grippy. Like when you're negotiating a corner or bend like this, you can feel the bike just sticking to the tarmac. Brakes are good, okay. Comes with single channel ABS at the front, dual brake rotors provided by Nissin brake calipers. And the suspension, the front fork is from Showa. Suspension is kind of bad, as I previously said, but maybe that is the way a characteristic of a automatic scooter is. The suspension is always bad because of its smaller wheelbase, the way this bike is designed, I think. So cannot help it maybe you can consider changing to like aftermarket suspension, like most of what the scooter riders are doing. Going through the yellow markings, can feel every bump, man. So the low windshield, you know, when you're sitting upright like this, you can feel the force of the wind in your head and your body right now. So the wind doesn't deflect the wind pretty well, but I think for scooter typically it's like that Cannot help it unless you get a taller windshield. But I still feel that even though with a taller windshield, like on the ADV 160, right, the windshield is slightly taller than the previous one, it still doesn't really help. So you need to get a really tall one. My friend Ajib, he installed a very tall windshield on his PCX, so when you're touring, it's very useful. And the windshield is not adjustable, by the way. I feel that in the ADV 150, where the windshield is adjustable, but it doesn't make any difference. So why even waste the additional cost to manufacture a windshield that is adjustable but yet doesn't make a difference? So So it's not necessary that I feel. Right, so this bike, somebody has clocked 128 kilometers in the top speed. Well, for me, we're not going to go that fast. But at 113 right now, yeah, it's kind of stable. And at high speeds, you don't feel the engine screaming its lungs out. Pretty okay, I must say. So highway riding, no issue I feel, other than the wind. It's really in your face right now. But it's still okay lah.
Right guys, so I had the bike for 1 week and just finished wrapping the shoot today lah. So this is the final scene for the video. The SRGT's performance is really in line with the Gilera ST200 and the Untitled Chapter Dragster. The performance is slightly better than the mainstream automatic scooters. You know what I'm talking about, the ADVs, the PCXs, the X-Maxes and the Aeroxes. And I feel the handling is slightly better also, but if you have ridden those scooters before, the SRGT200 will feel very similar to those scooters. Given that this bike is designed to be a competitor to those scooters, and it will feel very much similar. In fact, it is almost similar lah. From the way the bike handles, performance, the handling, underseat storage and everything. It's not a Vespa. It doesn't behave like a Vespa. It strives to be those kind of scooters lah, in competition, especially with the Southeast Asian market that Piaggio is trying to penetrate lah. So I would recommend the SRGT to riders who have never ridden a scooter before, or riders, P-platers who just passed their license and are looking to the SRGT as their first bike lah. The taller ride height is definitely something you need to get used to. Even until now, after a week of riding, I still haven't gotten used to it. It's a bit too tall, if you ask me. If you've ridden taller bikes before, you are taller than 165, it's okay lah. But because of its awesome handling and lightweight, there's some trade-off right there lah. So vertically challenged riders are still able to handle it, I feel. And also at 8,700 machine price, it's a bit steep compared to the ADV 160 at 7,990 machine price also. I mean, it's a Continental bike. With the branding comes a slightly higher price tag lah. But I think with the 3 years warranty, 3 years servicing, unlimited mileage that D-Lifestyle is providing, I think it's a good trade-off lah, if you ask me. Definitely a hit turner. I mean, I've been stopped 4 times. People asking me, what the heck is this? And they will just look at it, why it's like something different on the roads as opposed to all of the very common and mainstream automatic scooters out there. And with the Aprilia SRGT being a product of Piaggio, I would consider this bike to be the spiritual successor to the ever legendary and popular Gilera Runner ST200 lah. So once again, huge thanks to D-Lifestyles for providing me this bike for the review. And if you're ever keen, or interested, have a go at this, or maybe you want to test ride, you can always go down to D-Lifestyles at Linky Road, sorry. Have a go and have a test ride lah. And yeah, that's it for the vlog, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Give me all of your